Hi guys, and welcome to this week's collective reading. I hope you're all well. We've got the Storm card on the table. So maybe there's a brewing feeling within. And the message for this is to let it come out, right? Don't hold it in. It reads at the bottom of the card, it's okay to feel it all. Cleanse, collapse of the old, and realignment. So whatever it is going on in your life, this is about letting the emotions you have created around it move through you and release, right? Acknowledge them, and understand that feeling these emotions is the cleansing, right? Facing them head on instead of finding ways to ignore them or to tell yourself that these feelings don't even exist, right? That's like the worst when we force ourselves to move through our day in a space of denial, because that really suppresses the spirit. And this can manifest in illness, anger, melancholy, right? It can show up in different ways for all of us. But the most important thing to understand is that this bubbling up feeling is okay, or it's normal even, that there's lots of us going through it and that you're not alone. But this is the time to release it all. If you did set any intentions with the last full moon, maybe reflect on what that was right now and ask yourself if you've fully released everything that you've meant to. And if you didn't set intentions, that's fine. This is just something to think about if you have. Either way, right now we're thinking about what do we need to release at this time. Because we're in the last couple days of the waning period or the release before the new moon. It's a few days. So this storm energy, you want to let it flow through you so that you can be ready for the new moon, right? Because the growth period that's going to follow will be quite powerful, because the full moon on the 23rd of this month has some very interesting transits if you're interested in that stuff. But I don't want to get too far ahead, as these readings are meant to be quite current. Right now, we are releasing, and do your best to not give in to this urge to bury your feelings and store them in the body, right? Let them go and start with a nice clean slate on the new moon, right? And that is going to be Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on where you live. And when the new moon comes, set some really strong intentions for what you are growing and manifesting in your life at this time. So with this card of light language, there is one thing that wants to be made very clear today. And that is that light language is not just vocal or artistic. Both are beautiful ways to share light language, but the whole point of light language is that it isn't language as we understand it. So people who share their light language through their voice or art, is it valid? Absolutely, right? But that is a way of taking something that goes beyond our understanding and materializing it in a way that we are more used to as humans. My point is, you don't have to attach your perception of yourself to whether or not you can tap into light language in that way. Because we all receive benefits from light language, right? It doesn't matter if you can vocalize or draw it. And I'm not in any way trying to put down those who can, because like personally, I'm a huge fan of some artists that share their light language. But this is more about you understanding that light language is, it's light, right? It's not vocal and it's not art, right? That the vocalization and the art of it is a way to translate light language. It's a translation, but the light language itself, right? It exists outside of our space and time. It's not linear, right? This is how light can activate growth in a plant, right? There's no words shared, but there is an exchange. And I know some plants grow in the dark. That's not my point. This is why winter exists, so we can all go into our depths. But light is known to give life. And light language is stretching your understanding to knowing that we receive information from light. And we don't have to understand what or why. It's just like the plant that grows best in the sunshine, right? Allow yourself to absorb these light codes and trust it will help you to flourish, right? Just know that you are always receiving light language, and you don't have to be able to sing and draw to give this idea meaning, right? Light permeates everything. So yes, basking in the sun is ideal, but even in a room that is mostly dark, just the slightest crack in a curtain can allow light to flood in. So just the same, we are receiving light codes all day, every day, because light permeates. So when a thought gets pushed into your mind, stop discrediting it. If you have an idea pop up, don't bat it away immediately. Start taking your thoughts more seriously, right? This card reads at the bottom, universal language of oneness, of love, and listen with your heart. Right, so listen with your heart. And this is also why we're making sure we are allowing any stagnancy to clear out with this storm card first, because we are releasing these blockages and accepting the light. Next, we have Kambaba Jasper, and Kambaba Jasper is a very, very special crystal for me personally. This is one that Nath has highlighted for me to work with and connect with her energy stream. But I actually want to read from the book for this card first before I share my personal insight with this crystal, because it ties so perfectly with today's message. So hold on. In the book, it reads that Kambaba Jasper is a crystal to connect with ancient echoes. It says Kambaba Jasper attunes your personal biorhythms to the natural cycles of the planet. This crystal also facilitates deep clearing of your karmic body and the ancestral line. So with attuning to your personal biorhythms, to the natural cycles of the planet, I'm understanding this as Kambaba Jasper increasing the uptake of light language. So helping us to connect and receive these light codes. And with deep clearing, that's more obviously working with this storm energy. Moving on, it continues to read, when you live in your head rather than the physical world, Your cellular structure becomes unstable and your metabolism is thrown off balance. You may not be assimilating oxygen or nutrients such as minerals and vitamins. Remember that ideas are nutrients too. And I love that. Remember that ideas are nutrients too. And that's exactly what I mean when I say that we need to listen to the thoughts and ideas that come up in your mind and not dismiss them. Because this is the light language coming through. When a thought hits you, sometimes these ideas can feel exciting and it makes us feel good. And then after just a few seconds, we can think, oh, that idea is no good. And we can just leave it at that, right? End of. So remember that ideas are nutrients too. And if you're always dismissing your ideas, then you're not able to assimilate that gift that the light language is bringing you. So reading more. Disruption of your autonomic nervous and immune systems may be caused by ancient traumas and family dramas. And then skipping down a bit, the healing insight reads, by changing how you view things, you dramatically improve your well-being. Right? So shifting perspective is always huge in healing, right? Which is interesting because we have the Starseed card here and it's reversed. So she's in this hanged man position. But we'll talk about this in a few minutes. I just want to speak a bit more on Kambaba Jasper. So I did a video on Kambaba Jasper a while back. And if you have watched it, then this is just a reminder. But I had this message come through with Kambaba Jasper that it will support you. Let's say help hold you up if you are able to hold a really clear vision of what you want to manifest and you have the confidence to work towards this idea without pause. And that's a big thing with Kambaba, that it's here to help us when we really want something and we're working towards it. But it won't help you if you're not ready to put the effort in, right? If you're not willing to think the manifestation through, right? This is a crystal to work with when you can see the full picture down to the details, down to all the little details, right? But if the picture is fuzzy, don't bother. And that's not to be mean. It's just, it's not how Kambaba Jasper is here to help us. Right? Kambaba wants to help those who have like a really serious drive to a specific idea, right? So tying it into light language, any idea that strikes you, take the time to ponder them, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to run with every thought that comes to mind, but at least make the space to daydream a bit. And you may find that when you start doing that, you might find an idea that starts to form a clear picture in your mind. And this would be when I would highly recommend picking up a piece of Kambaba Jasper because it will support you in bringing that thought to life. So this Starseed card, this is a tarot deck, but this is one of the cards that's particular to this deck, which is the Star Child Tarot by Danielle Noel. And this is a card of knowing who you are. And actually, I need to correct myself. This is technically in the place of the Fool for this tarot deck, but it really carries a different meaning from the Fool card. Yeah. So like I said, this is all about knowing who you are, and that like this idea that you have a past and a future before and beyond this lifetime. So it's a little bit like the Fool in recognizing these cycles that have existed before and after, but like there's a twist to it, right? As such, you have knowledge stored within you, right? Just like the tiny acorn, right, that has all the knowledge stored within it to grow into a mighty oak tree. You have the knowledge stored within you. And these light codes are coming through to activate your knowledge, right? But with the reversal, it's showing the confusion and uncertainty that's attached to these life-altering decisions, right? This is that storm brewing. This is about trusting your intuition, these ideas that come through, and not always second-guessing yourself, right? Know your power, right? So to bring this energy back into balance, because it is reversed, find a way to connect to your higher self, right? Whether that be through meditation, journaling, visualization, dancing, singing, playing an instrument, painting. There are so many ways to connect with your soul, and just find the way that speaks to you. And this idea of something speaking to you without words, right? That is your light language. And that's it. That is this week's reading. Wishing you all the best, and I will be back next week. Bye, guys.